Hello everyone and welcome back to the Belgian Beer Brothers channel. Cedric here in Antwerp with yet another brew review, and today we are doing our second beer by Brasserie de Blaugies. Blaugies, a fantastic artisanal farm brewery in Wallonia, the southern part, the French speaking part of Belgium. Ne parle français, but my French really sucks, so I'm not even gonna try. This beer is called La Moneuse, and La Moneuse does make us think about money. Also in French, monnaie, change, pocket change. But that's only partly true. Because this beer is named after, I think it was Henri Moneuse. Either way, a bandit, a robber. And he was actually a really cruel robber because he tortured people by tying them up and putting their feet in a fire, like a bonfire, until they screamed out in pain and gave up where they hid their money and their belongings, after which he left them and robbed them. Not the happiest of stories. And I'm not quite sure what Blaugies has to do with Monsieur Moneuse, but they did make a beer out of this. This is supposed to be a strong amber beer. It's called Bière Forte, or strong beer. I think we'll have to find out. It's an 8% ABV, and it is brewed with malted barley and re-fermented in a bottle, and that is pretty much all that they tell us. This beer has been standing up straight for a very long time, and still a lot of residue on the side, so guess I'll have to be careful when pouring. Plain red muselet. Ooh. Wow. That is one stubborn cork. Almost there. Ooh. Quite the expansion here. A lot of vapor coming up, a lot of foam forming. Take the not so sticky side. Look at that color already. Now, I must say that this is extremely aromatic. But before we talk about the aroma, let's talk about the appearance. Slightly hazy because I was careful, but I still have some of the residue that released. And if you guys know me by now, I don't mind that. I like that. So nice and hazy. I would say a bit coppery orange. This is somewhere between amber and gold, but it looks beautiful. Some yellowish off-white foam, mixed density bubbles, some large bubbles. That is partially because of my pour. Also some nice carbon dioxide content. And like I said, very aromatic. This smells very dry. This smells like a very dry saison. This reminds me of Le Bon Vœu, or well, any saison by Dupont. This reminds me a bit of a Tank 7 maybe, but more the classic saison like Dupont. very herbaceous, very actually savory. I think a lot of saison or farmhouse beers smell quite savory, and I am absolutely here for it. And even though these beers don't have added herbs, I think ever so often we can distinguish a bit of thyme, a bit of rosemary, or oftentimes a bit of sage in these aroma palettes. Have those herbs been added? No. But that is a byproduct of the fermentation process. It does have a very slightly malty sweet edge in the nose. So this is gonna be interesting. Let's have a taste. Cheers. Oh wow, not at all the aroma when it comes to taste. This is actually relatively sweet. I expected a very dry, savory beer, and it is actually more sweet. A lot of toasted malt, a bit of caramel even. A bunch of leftover sugars from the wort. I love this. Very mellow, very soft, and does not taste like an 8%er. So very dangerous as well. Mouthfeel, I don't want to say harsh, because harsh has such a negative connotation. I do want to say very present, very bubbly, very tiny bubbles, like as if they use the champagne yeast, for example. But tiny bubbles that are quite aggressive. Wow. Talking about wrong expectations. So it is still quite hoppy, quite bitter, and I do love that. That really goes hand in hand with that sweetness in the flavor, that malty leftover sugar sweetness, but also with that savory aroma. And that is why a glass in this shape is interesting, because when drinking, we actually put our nose completely into the glass. We are submerged in the aroma. And therefore we can experience the aroma and the flavor at the same time, because of that retronasal reflex as well as the immediate intake. Yeah. I like this very much. It's not what I expected it to be, but it is still damn good. But that mellow after flavor really, really does the trick. That is the cherry on top. So I have no choice but to give this beer at least a 3.75. I'm gonna let this sink in, and then I'm gonna decide whether this is a 3.75 or a 4. But it is darn good. I already loved this brewery, but then I got to know La Vermontoise, and then the last one that we had, and then now this one. I still have 2 beers from Blaugies, and I am very eager to find out how those are. Okay, that all being said, thank you guys for watching. If you like this video, leave a comment down below, hit the thumbs up. If you want to see more, subscribe, hit the bell icon. You'll get notified whenever I upload something. And if you want to have a tasting in real life, I am still available for bookings. Find my website. Find my website down below in the description. And for all other intents and purposes, comment section is the place to be. I will see you guys again in the next video with probably another Blaugies beer. Cheers.